key dates. And some key dates for you as well. So thousands of international students choose to come to the University of Sheffield here every year. And the reason for that is we have a reputation, as Henry's already mentioned, we have a great reputation for our teaching excellence, which attracts over 29,000 students here to Sheffield. And they come from a range of different countries. So we have around about 140 different nationalities here in Sheffield. And they study across 55 academic departments, which are supported by approximately 8,000 students. So we're a rather large university. The university is one of the 24 universities that make up the Russell Group. And we're members of this group because we are committed to maintaining the very best research. We're committed to we can give. And that's why we are classed as one of the top leading global universities in the world. We are currently ranked 14th in the UK. It does depend on which rankings that you look at, but we are currently 14th in the UK from the Times Higher, and we are 96th in the world. So what's very important as well to mention today is that we support students very much to gain skills and experiences whilst you're doing your studies that employers are seeking. So we are within the 96% of our students are in work or further study within 6 months of graduating. We offer a number of students career-focused opportunities that will really help you stand out from your competitors and make you more employable. So whilst you're doing your academic studies here at Sheffield, on campus, you also get great opportunities to really sort of develop in your career, and you can do things like career opens. We have guest lectures who come onto campus. You can do CV writing and interview workshops. And we regularly invite leading employers to come onto campus to talk to our students. And this is all geared towards providing you with the key opportunities to build your skills and begin networking with potential employers. So once you finish your postgraduate program, if you're doing a taught program, it would be just under a year. You are then sort of thrown into the world of work, but hopefully with all those key skills that you need in order to find that job that you're seeking and be employable. We offer a range of subject areas at the University of Sheffield. There's too many to mention, but we have around, we have 5 different faculties. We have science, engineering, medicine, dentistry and health, arts and humanities, and social sciences. And within those faculties, there are a number of subjects that you can on. And the best thing you can do there really is you'll be able to see a range of, as I say, subjects, and you'll also get to see the models. Of everything that we do here. We have over 300 clubs and societies for you to join. So there's a range of things from that slide there. You can see cheerleading, you can see basketball. Oh no, can you see what's that? No, you can see, I think that is skateboarding. And then we do a lot of sort of mountain bike excursions as well. So bike riding out into the peaks. We are also very proud to be the owner of the Best Students Union in the UK, and we have just literally been voted #1 again last week for our Students Union. And this is because we offer a huge range of facilities and support services at our Students' Union, ranging from visa and immigration advice. We have a careers shop, so you can go and check out what the local vacancies are if you're looking for a job whilst you're studying. But it's essentially, it's an organisation that you can really benefit from and become part of. We have students elect officers to represent their interests, and they run the Students' Union. So it's a hub of sort of student life activity. There's shops there, there's coffee bars and all sorts. So as I mentioned, we are very proud to say that we have been voted once again the top #1 Students' Union in the UK. Also to mention, we have a really striking structure that is called the Diamond here at Sheffield University, and it's an £81 million investment in our teaching and learning, and it's home to over 6,000 students for the Faculty of Engineering, and our students use the Diamond to get learning in a state-of-the-art labs. They develop skills on industrial scale equipment. And they study, there's around 1,000 study spaces within this building. What I encourage you to do, if you would like to have a look at the Diamond in a bit more detail, we do have 300-degree tours. So from the comforts of your own home or your offices, you can have a which you can find online. So let me just briefly talk to you about the tuition fees here at Sheffield. So these tuition fees are an approximate sort of figure, which should give you a rough idea on what the tuition fees are like for each subject area. So I recommend that you take probably a screenshot of this if you like, or you can of course look on the website that's given at the top of this slide. But you can see that depending on the PGT course, for an MA or an MSc, you're ranging between 22,000 to 30,000. For a medical program or a clinical dentistry, it increases significantly, and you're looking at a tuition fee of around 41,000 to 50,000. And then for PhD students, again, this really depends on the subjects that you're wanting to study and the research and the project that you're wanting to do. It ranges from 20 to 41,000. And on the website, there is a fee look-up tool, so you can have a look at that if you know specifically which course you're wanting to study. So unfortunately, on top of those tuition fees, you also have your living costs. And this slide gives you an indication of what the living expenses are for students coming to study here at Sheffield. We are one of the cheapest cities to live in if you look at the NatWest information. So that's a good thing going for us. The estimated budget for a postgraduate student would be from around September to August. We're talking just over £12,000. So I'd be looking at probably about 13,000 I would recommend that you have on top of your tuition fee. The cost as well, the figure that I've just given you, 13,000, that does cover accommodation as well, and food, and the type of equipment that you might want to buy to support you in your studies. It's also worth mentioning that the contracts that we have here at Sheffield for accommodation for postgraduate students is normally around 41 weeks, which is from the 18th of September 2023. So for those that are thinking about joining us this year, it's 18th of September 2023 that runs to 10th September 2024. But of course, it varies depending on which year you're planning on joining us. So very quickly then, to mention about our international postgraduate scholarship specifically. So we have what you call an automatic scholarship that's given to our international students. It's a reduction from your tuition fee. So depending again on which subject you choose, so if you go for an engineering program, for example, you would automatically receive a £2,500 discount on the tuition fee that you see on the website. The other scholarship that I wish to mention today is our scholarships for high achieving students. And this is called the International Merit-Based Scholarship. So we have 125 awards and they're worth 25% off your tuition fee. So again, you would reduce 25% off your tuition fee. For those students that are joining us this year and you haven't yet applied, please do so because the deadline is the 15th of May. So you've got very little time left to actually get your application in. The scholarship results will be given mid-June. So you will find out whether or not you have been successful on your merit-based scholarship in June time. To apply for this scholarship, you must hold an offer to one of our courses. And as soon as you hold an offer from us, we will then send you the application form via email. So again, for those students that are joining us this year, you only have a short time left to apply. For those joining us hopefully next year, please keep your eye on the website at the top of that page because the scholarships will be updated in about a couple of months for next year. So these are some of the key dates. The academic year here is split into 2 semesters, the autumn and the spring semester. And each semester is separated by 4 weeks of what we have a Christmas holiday, and then we have 3 weeks at Easter. So for postgraduate students, the actual date that you need to be in class is the 25th of September for this year. And then you would complete your studies on the 8th of June. The intro week, which is from the 18th to the 23rd of September, is optional, but highly recommended because it gives you the time to get familiar with Sheffield, to walk around, to meet new friends, and to get involved in all sorts of different activities that we put on here at the university. Now, just quickly to mention our entry requirements for postgraduate students. Now, you apply for postgraduate degrees online, so everything is online, and you can do that by either speaking to an SI UK counsellor, or you can look for the online application online yourself. The entry requirement that we would be looking for would be a 4-year degree with a 2-1. Most courses, some courses, beg your pardon, may consider a 2-2, but that does depend on the subject. And we also accept, of course, a pre-master's. If you haven't quite got the grades that you want to be able to come into a Russell Group university, but you do want to come to a Russell Group university, then you have the option of doing a pre-master's programme. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a moment. In terms of English requirements, from Kenya, we accept a grade B or above in your KCSE, or listed to the right of that screen, you can see the other accepted English tests that we also recognise, which of course you would have all heard about, IELTS, and we also accept the Pearson test as well. But I do recommend to have a look at that website, which again is on the slide, to get a clear indication of whether or not, depending on what English language you have, whether or not we accept it here at Sheffield. Now, I mentioned briefly about the pre-masters. So, as I've said, for those students who don't quite meet the grades and they're desperate to come to Sheffield or they're desperate to go to a Russell Group, there is an option of doing a pre-masters here at the Sheffield International College. And the pre-masters is essentially another year of study. It's just under a year. And the entry requirements for that would be a successful completion of a bachelor's degree with an average grade of 50%. So do bear that in mind if you are wanting to come to Sheffield University, but you haven't quite met the grades, there are other options available. So just to finish really on saying that there is a huge amount of support available here at Sheffield for students throughout the application process, but also when you arrive on campus. You'll obviously get a great deal of support from the SI UK counsellors, but you will also get support from myself and my colleagues here based in Sheffield as you go through the application. So I just wanted to briefly mention here, and again, it might be worth taking a screenshot of this slide, but we offer a great deal of postgraduate. So when you start, you're very quickly sort of engaging with employers, with industry, with partners, all in the aid of getting you ready for the world of work once you graduate. So it's very much employability focused here at Sheffield. And also, I wanted to mention, and luckily we have our ambassadors I've mentioned with us today who'll talk to you a little bit more about their experience. But you can speak with our current students at any time you wish. So one sort of key thing I hope that you take away from today's presentation is but they are from Sheffield and they might be from the faculty that you're wanting to go to, and they'll give you an honest and you know, open opinion about what their experience has been like. Now, something has just gone wrong with my documents. So what I'm going to do is I will just stop sharing there because it's just gone a bit funny, and I'll just say thank you for listening. But what I'd like to do now, if that's okay, and you're still with me, is Henry from the SIUK Centre is going to share a brief video that I think is really lovely and shows you a little bit about Sheffield. And then after that video, I would like very much to introduce you to Shazza, who is going to talk to you about her student experience. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, great. So I'm going to attempt to give it a play. Let me know if you can hear the audio before I proceed. All right.
Do we have sound?
Yes, we do. I don't know if you can hear it. Let me just make adjustments.
Okay, it's not on my. It's fine. Sorry, it's not on.
It's not. Can you can't hear the audio from your side?
No.
Oh, let me make adjustments to that.
I tell you what might be a good thing to do, if that's okay, because we can't hear the video. How about we send the video to our students today who have joined us? Would that be okay?
Yes, fantastic. I can have it on link and share.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's send the link to everybody who's joined us today because it's a lovely video.
It is.
And you get to see a little bit of Sheffield. So what I'll do now, Henry, and everybody with us today, is I'll pass you over to our ambassador, if that's okay. Shazza, if you've got a presentation to share, that would be wonderful.
Hi, hopefully everyone can hear and see me. Just a thumbs up, Jill, if you can, and hopefully everyone else.
Hi, Shaz. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, if you have a presentation, just a minute. I think my audio could be the problem. So
okay, no.
Your host, so that you would you be having a presentation?
To kind of put it up because I thought Jill had it.
Okay, I can't seem to get you clearly, but it could be from my end. I don't know, Jill, can you hear her?
Yes, hi.
Hi, can you hear Shazza?
Yes, we can hear Shazza fine. I think you just made a co-host, so she should be able to share her screen now.
Yes, she should be able to. Shazza, all yours. Take it away.
Could I get a confirmation that everyone can still hear me?
Yes,
hear
you're
you.
perfectly. Yes.
Lovely. Just gonna quick apologies. Not sure if everyone can see the slide.
Not yet, Shazza. You've frozen a little bit.
No worries. I do apologize. I am working from my phone as I have damaged my laptop. So I think I'll just carry on if that's okay. Unless I can get this to work now.
Shazza, if you would like to send your presentation to Philip or Henry, I'm sure they can upload it for you. Oh, no, we're...
Definitely, I think that's...
Yes.
Can everyone see that?
There, we can now see your screen. There we go. All about Shazza. There we go.
My apology. Very much. Oops. I'll try that
Technology,
again.
it's
Sorry.
okay. What can you do?
Even despite having gone through uni in the pandemic, this still gets the best of me. So I do apologize for that. But hello, everyone. My name is Chaja. I'm an international student here at the University of Sheffield, and I'm currently in my final year in Masters of Chemical Engineering. So for today's presentation, I'm just going to give a short preview of what my experience has been like being here in Sheffield, just a little bit about the activities I've done, a little bit about my course, a little bit about my experience being of an international experience, and just some of the things I've enjoyed about Sheffield. And hopefully I'll be able to give you an immersive presentation that helps you have a better understanding on the decision you made to come to Sheffield or not. So next. So like I said, my name is Chaja Mafunye. I am a Kalanga. That is one of the tribes back home, a favorite one, of course. I am a Christian. I'm the last born child of 6 children. So I'm quite an attention seeker. Just kidding. I'm quite loud for my small stature, and I hope to convince you to come to Sheffield. Moving on to the next slide. So my degree is chemical engineering with a year in industry. So it's a 5-year degree course where for 3 years you're doing the content to get a bachelor's degree. And then in your 4th year, if you're able to, you can go out for a year in industry, whether in the UK, abroad. And then in your 5th year, you return from year in industry to come back and complete your master's. So I don't have a bachelor's degree. This is an integrated course. So at the end of it in June, I'll be getting just a master's degree without 2 different degrees. So the main reason for chemical engineering was really to help people and the environment. I thought about medicine, but one, I failed the UK CAT, which is like an aptitude test that you have to take to do medicine. And it really was a realization I needed to see that medicine is just not for me. I just don't know if I have it in me to tell someone that they're not well. Shout out to people in medicine, medical field. You're amazing for being able to push through that. And engineering was always going to be the second route. I really did enjoy the sciences and maths, which is the subject I did in my A levels. So maths, physics, bio, and chemistry. And chemistry was my favorite. So it was just automatic that I go into chemical engineering because I like the idea of producing products and making machinery that make useful products for people all over the world, no matter what their tax bracket or socio-economic background may be, but also making sure that the technology integrated into it is sustainable in how much product we use, how much raw material we use, and also how much waste do we produce, and is there a way to reduce and reduce that waste, especially now with the world trying to meet the Paris Agreement for 2050, which is like net carbon zero. So just a few reasons why I picked my degree. So what do chemical engineers do? Chemical engineers make stuff. We make a lot of products. So in technical terms, we design processes to transport and transform raw materials that may not be useful in their natural state and transform them into useful products that we can use in our everyday today. A simple example is you can take a cacao bean, and a cacao bean in its natural state can that and engineers work in so many different industries, can be pharmaceuticals, can be food industry, can be power generation, can be renewable energy sources, so like solar, wind, geothermal, nuclear power plants, energy, so production of energy from fossil fuels, the conventional way that we make heat and power. So there's so many different industries that chemical engineers do. And basically, if you're making a product from something and making it into a useful object that can be either used in household or used by other industries like chemicals and stuff, you probably find a chemical engineer designing the process and leading the project to take that process from an idea all the way into like installations on site. We make use of 3 sciences to match the design and operate the plants. And usually what we do is we take what R&D have designed or perfected in a lab and produce it at a large scale, like 10 to 20 times more what a lab can produce. So like the chocolate example, labs can produce enough chocolate to make 1 or 2 slabs of Cadbury. And then as a chemical engineer, my role is to make sure I can make 20,000 slabs of Cadbury to make sure that all the stores are filled with the chocolate and we're meeting customers' demand. So for me, in my 4th year, I did my industrial placement at AkzoNobel. That's a Dutch petrochemical company that's well known for owning the paint brand Dulux. And I was basically making paint. I was of big batches of white paint every single year. And I was just responsible for making sure that we're creating that paint at those large volumes, taking care of the machinery, leading projects that dealt with installation of sanitization, and also projects to update a lot of the machinery because the site was very old and some of the machinery was obsolete. So what I have enjoyed about my modules, or better yet, about my course, it's one, the student support from the department. I really have enjoyed how accessible assist is as a student here. So if I had any such problems that I had with my academic modules, whether it be content, whether it be, great example is today, my laptop not working and me needing a laptop in order to get my research project done in the next 11 days. Student support has been great in like assisting me and giving me advice on what to do. Where can I get a laptop from the uni, or can I get an ECF form? So that's an extenuating circumstance form, which allows you to get an extension based upon the circumstances, which in this case is a broken laptop. So it's just been great kind of support and to be able to liaise with them by email or in person during work. Another thing is how practical a lot of the work and a lot of the content is. It's not just lecturers giving out notes about theory and abstract information, but a lot of these lecturers have industrial experience. So that's one great thing I've realized about a lot of the engineering departments here, from also my friends who are in other engineering courses, is that you get to hear about how the work you're learning in class can actually work in real life. And some of them have worked in industry, like I said, so they're able to share their own experiences to the best of their knowledge about how this piece of software or this equation or this model that we're learning about has helped in industry and its importance and value in making a successful plant. So that's really good, because a lot of times you can get tired of just learning abstract and theory as an engineer, but it's good that you can see how that abstract and theoretical work can be implemented into the real world. And another thing is the labs as well. They're a great way to kind of see all these diagrams come to life in the lab scale. So that's really been good, that there's a combination of theory and practical work. And many of the assignments are group projects for chemical engineering and quite a number of other engineering engineering disciplines. That's because as engineers, you're always going to work in a group. Either you're going to work in a group of other process engineers, or you're going to work in a multidisciplinary group. So it's very important that you learn how to work in a group, how to team manage, how to be a team worker, organizational and management skills. It's been very good, like learning how to work in a group, because obviously if you're given a certain task, you don't want to be the one who's bottlenecking the project. So it's been that good pressure of learning how to manage my own autonomous work with other modules where I have individual work, but also making sure that I'm getting my assigned tasks done in my group, and taking a step into leadership as well. It's been good to kind of learn what it is to be like a team leader, and also just meeting people from different backgrounds from myself and just interacting with them in this setting has been so good. I always tell people that just from the University of Sheffield, well, not just in my course, but in general, I traveled the world just from the people I've managed to meet here in my flat, in people in my course, people in societies that I've joined. So it's just that kind of interaction in the group project and all of that has been so great. And it improves my soft skills. So it's something that's going to really help me when I work in industry, to be able to display the ability to work with people from different departments and learn how to articulate and enunciate the information in a project is going to be really useful. And yeah, and then the last thing is employability module. So in my course, we get employability module. We learned how to CV write and how to write cover letters, and also how to maintain and create a LinkedIn account. That's been really helpful in just improving my professional outlook towards industries, and showing that, okay, I do have a portfolio of some sorts that people can refer to if they're interested in hiring me or finding out a little bit about myself. And also just learning how to write a CV and cover letter. I had no job experience prior to coming to uni. So being able to learn about that in an academic setting was really important, and it helped me in getting my placement. Just gonna quickly move on. Right. So university study spaces, the university has 4 main study spaces, but there are so many different buildings which have like PC systems or open seating areas where you can do your work. But the main ones are the Diamond, which is top left. Jill's already talked about it. That's the home of engineers. So most of the time, if I'm doing assignments, lectures, lab work, it's mostly in the Diamond, if not 80 to 90% of my content. The IC, that's strictly the Diamond, which is a combination of a learning and study space. The IC is purely a study space with so many different PCs, over 400-500 of them, if I'm not wrong, PC. So it's definitely a well-known study space for all departments. Western Bank Library, that's the more traditional library space. So if you're looking for that, numerous books, extremely silent, big table, that's definitely where Western Bank Library is. And as you can see from the bottom left picture, it has high floor to ceiling windows which overlook Western Park. So during the summer, it's so pretty to look at, and during the winter as well when it's snowing. Obviously, when it's snowing, it's cold, but once you're in Western Bank and you're just looking at the white, it's quite an experience. It's quite a nice distraction to take from studying. And there's the student union, of course, as Jill has already talked about, and I'll go a little bit into that because as an international student, the student union has definitely helped me with issues that I faced as an international student concerning my visa, concerning financial assistance a bit, concerning anything to do with outside my academics, I've gone to the SU and they've been quick to assist me. So hopefully I can speak a little bit more about that. So societies, as Jill has already said, the university has over 300 different societies. And I've made sure that in my last 4 to 5 years here, well, 4 years technically, because last year I was on placement, 4 years, I've immersed myself in as many societies as possible. So I've played netball, but that's more for social. I play hockey for the university currently. I joined the Chemical Engineering Society, so that's the society for the degree I'm in. I've joined a social enterprise that's known as Enactus, which basically students are grouped into different projects that help solve real world problems around the world. So when I was in Enactus, I was helping farmers in Malawi develop sustainable farming techniques and irrigation systems. And it was great to kind of liaise with them online because it was during COVID, and just give these farmers a fighting chance to produce the crops that they need to just sustain their families, but also hopefully have enough produce to sell. I also joined MarsWorks. That's a society that builds a rover that then we compete against other universities, and these rovers have been tested to see whether or not they'll be eligible to be on Mars. We don't actually get to take them to Mars, but it's a cool experience, and I thought, why not? I also joined Women in Engineering, which is a great place for females who are in STEM. It's a great way for you to meet other females who are in STEM and also just be able to be encouraged, because as a woman in STEM, sometimes you're in a heavily male-based environment. That's the case when I was in placement. So it's good to be able to communicate with other females and just share your experiences and have that safe space. So yeah, definitely when you come, if you do come, or when you come to the University of Sheffield, do not hesitate to join a society. A lot of them have give it a go sessions where basically you only attend 1 or 2 of the training sessions or like the meetings, whether it's a sport or a social society, and you can see whether or not this is something you're interested in. If not, you're not forced to stay. If it is, you're happy to join and pay the membership fees. Membership fees are around £5, which is quite affordable. The sports were a lot more expensive depending on how high up in the league you play. But also the sports societies have social or campus leagues where it's not against other universities. You're simply playing against other departments in the university, and it's a very social environment. So you get to meet other people in your course, and you also get to meet other people across the university's departments. Next, I will speak about my faith. So I am a Christian, as I said, and one of the cool things about the university is the Belief, No Belief, and Religious Life Center. It's basically a chaplaincy for all the different beliefs that people may have, maybe Islam, Hinduism, Buddhist, Christianity. Even if you don't have a belief and you're more spiritual, like New Age religion sort of, there are a lot of religious advisors and chaplaincies who can support and give one-to-one sessions. I remember during COVID, when I was struggling with my faith, I was able to contact the head of the chaplaincy and have one-to-one online video sessions with him just to go through some of the concerns I had. And it was just good to know that at a university where there's so many people who have different backgrounds and have different beliefs, you are allowed to express this belief in a safe space and get that guidance. And it's a great way for you to also find out what churches are available. So if you have a specific denomination, Adventist, Catholicism, Anglican, Baptism, Pentecost, Methodist, there's so many churches here in Sheffield. So if this is something that you were concerned about, definitely check out the BNBR Life Center on the Muse website. You can find it on the University Sheffield website, and you can find a little bit about what religious advisors you will be able to assist you when you come to the university. And there are also prayer rooms in the university. So the Diamond and the IC have 2 prayer rooms, and that's really good. So if you're someone who needs to take a break a bit and would like to be in a silent place, I know a lot of people of the Islam faith use it, which is quite good. And I'm not sure if other people from other faiths have used it. It's something that you'd have to inquire. I myself just come home to pray and then go back to school. But yeah, that's a little bit about faith if it's something that you were considering. And food, that's the biggest thing I love about Sheffield. As a Motswana, I love food, but obviously not a lot of restaurants here sell food from back home. So I like to try meals from around the world. That's another way I get to travel through food. And some of my favorite restaurants have been, some of my favorite memories have been with me and my friends just traveling Sheffield, making sure to budget, of course, and just trying to make an effort to hang out and try different restaurants of different cuisines. So we've had pizza that was cooked in an oven, a wood stove oven, which makes really authentic pizza. It's way better than this fast food pizza that I like. I have Korean fried chicken, which is pretty good. Different types of desserts, coffee, cafes. I have a very big thing here in Sheffield. There's so many independent cafes outside of like branches that you can go to, not just to study, but also to interact with friends. It's a great way for you to interact with people to join with. And I just remembered something as well. One of the societies that the university has is the East African Society, and there are a lot of Kenyans in that society. I remember considering joining it. So if you are someone who's wondering whether or not there are Kenyans here in Sheffield, they are, and there's an entire society to them. So it's definitely something to check out. There's also the African Caribbean Society, which is for all African nations and Caribbean. So there are two major African societies, and you can give it a go sessions, interact with the people and see whether or not this is a great environment. And it's also a great way for you to meet other people from your homeland. Next, oops. And this is just a picture of all the different things that I've done here in the university over the last 5 years. I am a big football fan. I support Arsenal. Unfortunately, not going to win the Premier League, but it was a nice dream. So I've managed to go to Emirates Stadium, which is a great experience in my first year, especially where Sheffield is located, because it's almost central in the UK. Going down south like London or Canterbury, or up north like Edinburgh, it's quite affordable in my opinion. So it means that I can travel to so many different places in the UK, which is great. And it's quite a sizable station. So you are able to go to a number of different places without having to take so many different stops. I've traveled to the Peak District. That's one of the best things about Sheffield is how green of a space it is. Those of us who come from African countries, we know that back home, trees are not something that is abnormal. If you're like me, where during the holidays, if you live in the city, you're always going back to the village to just be with family and see the cows and stuff like that. Being in nature is something that is so relaxing when you're in the city jungle. So the Peak District is a national reserve, which is just at the back door of Sheffield. So me and my friends like to go there just for the scenery, just to take a break from the city jungle and just breathe in some fresh air. Hockey Society, we do a lot of socials. A lot of societies do a lot of socials so that members can get to interact with each other. Me and the hockey girls went to do pottery. So there were cups that were made already and we were painting them. It was a nice social setting. That picture with all those people is the Botswana. So I'm on the top row, the fourth picture. Those are the different Botswana we've studied here in Sheffield. And we celebrated people who were graduating. So we all dressed up and went for dinner. Those are the Botswana who I met in London. And then if you go to the middle row, I've gone for different concerts. I've been able to support my friends who are in the music industry, who are upcoming artists. Me and my friends in my course, pictures on the right, those are people who, you know, I've met in my first year. And here we are 4 5 years friends and still, you know, maintaining great contact, and not just in our course, but outside. I've managed to go with my other Botswana friends and international friends graduate across the UK, and bottom right photo is other international students who I've worked with and gotten to meet because of my jobs and ISA. So it's a good paying job. It's not as time consuming because our studies are the main important thing. And it's been a great way to meet other international students. And yeah, it's just been quite a great experience. I've done as much things as I can do that I know I wouldn't be able to do back home. And I've made so many friends, so many memories that will definitely help me as an individual, but also that I get to cherish for the rest of my life. And my current update is I'm doing a research project on alternative cementitious material, so making cement without all the carbon dioxide that is being emitted by the conventional cement manufacturing. I hope to run a full marathon. I'm a long distance runner. I really enjoy doing that. So hopefully at the end I'll be able to do that. I enjoy crocheting and knitting, great pastime. And hopefully I continue to eat my way through all of Sheffield's restaurants and cafes without blowing through my budget. Quite a lengthy presentation. I do apologize, but thank you very much for listening. I do hope that you've been able to gain an immersive experience about what it's like to be a student here at Sheffield. And if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat and I'll make sure to answer them. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
That was brilliant. So I did pick up some questions from the chat actually, which I'll read out, and I'm sure you can answer, Chaza, yourself. So the first one, is it difficult navigating UK life as an international student?
That's a really good question. I guess it will always be a culture shock if you're someone from a different culture. So obviously I'm Southern African, because I just want to make it different that, you know, East Africa, North Africa thing, we all have different culture experiences as Africans. But as Southern African coming to the UK, because maybe I'd gone to a private school and stuff like that, some of the things that were done here weren't exactly a shock to me because I'd seen them on TV and YouTube and all of that. But it's a learning experience. I think the most important thing is when you come to a country that is completely different from your own, see it as an opportunity to see a different side of the world, because you're not going to see things that we see back home. Like I said, scenery wise, some cities you won't even see a park. Some cities don't have parks as much as Sheffield, which is a great thing. The way people interact with each other, the way people approach you may be different. But I think one of the things that I've enjoyed about Sheffield is that personally, I've not experienced any sort of, I think in this university particularly, I've not experienced any aggression or discrimination or any phobia towards me because I'm a Black woman, which is quite great because it means that the city as a whole is growing and becoming accepting of international students. So that's made it easy for me to go into different spaces where I'm the only Black person in there, but I'm not being judged because I'm Black. I'm being judged based on my skills. What am I able to do? What do I bring to the table? So definitely don't be afraid to come to a different country. Yes, you may meet that one or two people who don't have a good understanding and are a bit dense. I promise you, there are so many people here in the university who just want to learn and who are open to learning about your culture. And it's just a great way to talk about home and introduce them to your culture. And it's a great way to learn about that culture. So it's been a great transition for me personally, but I do want to put it out there that you may meet one or two people. That happens. Nothing is perfect in this world. But for University of Sheffield, academic society, and even just general populace, it's been a great experience.
Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, I find Sheffield a really friendly place to live. I think it's everybody seems to have everyone's back, which is a saying that we have out here in the fact that people try and help others no matter where they're from. Okay, so the last question, because I realised that we're running out of time. So there's one question, and apologies, I can't remember who put it in the chat, but could you tell us, how did you get your placement?
Oh, so in the Faculty of Engineering, which is one of the 5 or 6 faculties, correct me if I'm wrong, Jill, Faculty of Engineering has a dedicated department that assists engineering students with finding placements, whether or not it's summer placements or long placements. And I basically approached them, telling them that I'm really struggling to find a placement. And they advised me not only how to find placements or the different job boards that you should use, but also I had one-to-one 30-minute sessions with them going over my CV and cover letter and learning how to adjust each CV and cover letter to match a job description, and also interviewing skills and techniques. So learning how to speak and articulate myself when I'm in an interview process, and practicing my way of presenting my answer to a recruiter. Another thing is, for those who don't join the Faculty of Engineering, is there's the Student Hub, the Career Services, which is one of the great things about the SU. The Career Services basically helps you find a job across anywhere, whether it be a grad job, graduate job, a placement, a part-time job, anything to do with finding a job will help you. It will help you with finding those jobs, managing your CV, understanding how to apply for those jobs, and basically give the same assistance as the engineering placement department that I was in. So yeah, that's one of the other cool things about the SU. Oh, you're on mute, Jill.
Sorry, I was just going to say that acronym SU is Students' Union, for those wondering. But thank you. I realise I might have to pass over back to Henry, but thank you so much to everybody for joining us today, and to Chaza for giving us a wonderful presentation and insight in your experience here at Sheffield. So I'll be quiet and I'll pass it back over to Henry, but thank you very much for joining us. Well,
you didn't have to be, but thank you again. Thank you so much. I think I got even your name wrong the first time. It is Chaja. Is that correct? Oh, okay, fantastic, great. So we've actually had a couple of questions in the chat box. For those who are busy listening and not checking out what's happening, lots of questions have been shared in the chat box, and Jill has been there, quite present as well, taking some of those questions and answering most of them, that is. Let me see if there's any that just needs, to be put out there for everyone, just in case. All right, there was a question right there about IELTS. There's a question about IELTS, but it has been discussed actually pretty well. There's a question about traveling with family from Steve, and the answer is yes, family members can come over to Sheffield on a family dependency visa, and look at that, they actually do offer family accommodation. So Steve, I hope that answers it for you. There was a question on scholarships as well. Jill answers it perfectly about, so there is the 25% merit-based scholarship, PGT, which Claire actually asked what is PGT, postgraduate taught. See, if you're not checking out things in the chat, you wouldn't have known that as well. So pretty much that's it. Jill, thank you so much. I would actually just request you have your contacts in the chat as well, just in case there's anyone who wants to reach out to you directly. That way they can,
Let me just pop that in now for you. So it's my name, which is Jill.
Yeah, and an email will be fine. An email will be perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Great. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Jill. Asante sana. When will we be meeting you in Kenya? Are you coming in July?
When will I be in Kenya? I will be back out in Kenya it will be September.
September. Okay, great, perfect. Then we will wish you that. We hopefully will touch you.
Thank you. I look forward to
and the rest of our team. All right, asante sana. Thank you so much. For the rest of us, you can actually stay back. I think I figured out how to get the video to play. So I'm excited to share that with you as well. Her contacts are in the chat. If you want to start your application to the University of Sheffield, this is the time. Start now, on time for the September intake. We are available in Nairobi and Mombasa. And for those outside the country, also someone joining us from Zimbabwe as well. Our contacts are in the chat. Just feel free to email us and we will take care of it for you. Our services are 100% free. There you go. Thank you so much, Jill. Asante san.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.